approaching the end of the season for the Celtics. Of course, last week we came to learn, Mego, that Jaylen Brown was sat down. He did not pursue getting 22 minutes or more in the final 3 games so that he could make the 65 games played, try to make all NBA, whether it was him meeting with the team, he and his team making up their mind that it wasn't worth the pursuit. If someone told him if he keeps grinding and doesn't take a couple of weeks off, he could injure the knee more. I'm glad that cooler and calmer heads prevailed and that they were able to figure that rest was indeed the best medicine, or at least the proper prescription for him right now. So I go into it asking you this, Mego. Is Jaylen Brown's mystery knee injury, is this the thing that concerns you? Of all possible factors and variables, is Jaylen Brown's nagging knee injury what makes you, like, is that what gives you the most concern about the Celtics possibly repeating as NBA champions?
Oh, definitely. It's the kind of thing where we've said all season, what's most important for the Celtics is that they stay healthy, that their starters stay healthy. And I think even if you look at Kristaps Porzingis, who's been playing great again before this taper period and is able to make up a lot of the production that you lose with Jaylen sitting, you still need Jaylen because of the motor that he is for this team. Like, even with the production that you get from Porzingis, from Drew Holiday on some nights, from Peyton Pritchard as likely 6th man of the year, Jaylen Brown is the second best player on your roster. And a lot of times he's the one who's leading scoring in the first quarter. A lot of times he's the one whose physical play is swinging the momentum in the third quarter or stopping the bleeding because he has this sheer force of will with which he plays. And so if you don't have that in the later rounds and he's not himself, that's the biggest concern I can think of outside of something happening with JT, God forbid.
Dan, you watch a little bit of basketball as well yourself, always seem willing to provide a level-headed take. Is that your biggest concern for the Celtics?
I think it has to be. In terms of concerns that we already know of, if there were, as Mego kind of teed up, if there were other injuries that popped up, I still worry about Porzingis' longevity. If you get a couple rounds into the playoffs and just how many different things he does and how much space he opens up for other guys, but present issues that are in front of this team, yeah, I think it's that, and it's kind of a runaway choice.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like, okay, internally, that's probably the biggest concern. My concern is just that there might be a better team or two. That's like, to me, that's my ultimate concern. Like, you have what you have with the Celtics right now. Injured Jaylen Brown, healthy Jaylen Brown or not. I don't know exactly whether his knee was 80%, 90%, 100% the last time they played Oklahoma City. Do we know exactly when the knee injury occurred or when it really started nagging him, Mego?
Well, it's hard to even gauge with Oklahoma City because when these two teams matched up against each other, the first time they're shorthanded, they didn't have Chet Holmgren, and the second time you're shorthanded because Al Horford doesn't play back-to-backs and Kristaps Porzingis was out with some kind of bronchitis virus.
Oh, that was the mystery virus.
So there's different points. Like you haven't really seen each other in full. And that's the nature of the finals, right? You get 2 shots at a team during the regular season, and the NBA largely treats the regular season as not counting anywhere near as much as even the early rounds of the playoffs, which is just the reality of it. So do I think that OKC is a better team than you? No, I think the Celtics are still a better team, but they are far and away better than any team that the Celtics, this almost exact same team, faced last year during the playoffs. They're an older team than they were last year, and they're much more complete. And the double bigs that they can run out there are scary. Like, they have different scary looks beyond just SGA getting to the foul line, getting to the free throw line, which I think a lot of fans think that's all it is over there.
No, I still feel like people in this area are grossly underestimating just how good the Thunder are. Like, they were 68-14. It's one of the better records ever, and that's with them kind of crapping the bed in a couple of games or just punting down the stretch as well. Like, and they're only going to get better because they're getting more experience and they have more draft picks, and they may ultimately attract more free agents because they're not cap strapped or in the middle of the second apron like a lot of other teams that are currently getting after it and or trying to win/repeat as NBA champions. Look, the Celtics have the talent. I agree 100%, and I've been on team rest Jaylen Brown. I told him I didn't want Tatum playing. I wanted him bubble wrapped a few weeks ago when he rolled his ankle. I think it was against the Heat. I forget what night it was where who no. It was Sacramento because wasn't it Sabonis who incidentally ran into him trying to defend a 3-point shot?
Yeah.
And that's what and he landed on Sabonis's foot when he planted under him when he shot the three, right? I wanted Tatum managed, and I think Missoula's done a great job with all of the minutes management with these guys, getting them to the postseason as healthy, well-rested, and prepared as possible. So if you only have Jaylen Brown at 75% the rest of the way, is there enough on the Celtics, Mego, to fill in for that extra 25% so that if you know you have him 36 minutes kind of compromised, 25 minutes bet, like if you can only play him 30 minutes a night, 25 minutes we'll say, because then the knee becomes an issue. Is there enough on this team to make up for that, or is that going to be sorely missed?
I would guess, yeah, but again, it just makes your path harder. Like, to me, it becomes the difference between, are you winning games in 5 or 6 games, series in 5 or 6 games, or are you going 7-game series and then really adding even more minutes and more workload to a guy, to your point, Dan, to a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, and then when you get to the finals, or if you get back to the finals even before then, going 7 games with the Cavs, then you get back to the finals and you see OKC there, and then you really do need Jaylen, I think, at least not nearly as banged up as he appears to be now, or getting through that pain. You know what I'm saying? It just makes your path more difficult. Do I think you can still get there? Yes. Yes, I still think that you're the best team in the league, and it's a slimmer gap between you and OKC and the Nuggets and the Lakers than it was this time last year, but you're still better. It's just, do you need Jaylen in those early rounds that much? Like, that's the balancing act. Can you beat them in 5 or 6 and get back to the Eastern Conference Finals and the finals and have Jaylen healthy? That's all the balancing act to me.
You were talking earlier, Mego, when we were discussing Rory McIlroy and him finally breaking through and getting his greatest achievement, the Masters title. We were talking about other athletes that need to do so. I can't help but think that if Jason Tatum lifts this Celtics team up not in absence of, but full well knowing how compromised Jaylen is, with Jaylen being so integral to the Celtics winning the title last year, that if he's able to lead them, make up for the points, make up for the defense, play 40-plus minutes a night all the way through, and carry the Celtics back to Duck Boats, Banner 19, and back-to-back championships, that'll be more than he could ever want, hope for, or ask. I would think that would be truly Tatum's crowning achievement.